impactful. So if the goal here is to show like, look, I'm Asha and I do these seminars, right? I have almost 6,000 followers. That's great. And by the way, we don't talk about follower count being important. If you've got it, wonderful. It's really about the quality of your followers, not the quantity of your followers. But nice to see that you have almost 6,000 followers. That's nice. Seems like you have a good following. And this photo back here, it's leaving too much to the imagination. So I would zoom this in. If you want to still use this and you want to show that you are somebody that does live presentations, that's what I'm getting from it. My first impression is Asha does live presentations. Asha's got some authority. Asha's got some credibility, but that's what it's trying to say, but it's not saying it, right? So we need to get clear.
Welcome everyone to our third edition of the Business Mastery series. We're glad you're here, and just so we are clear on the intent of this webinar, it is to talk about ways and means to grow your business once you have a coach certification, how to work through marketing, sales, and generally running a small business enterprise. I would also take a view of this webinar as being a sort of a meta of how sales could work, just watching Brett in action, and how he promotes some of the work that we're doing is applicable to all of you as coach entrepreneurs. So with that, Brett's going to talk more about LinkedIn and deep dive into some of the aspects of LinkedIn that can be helpful to your business without having to pay for ads or do digital marketing. But Ram has a message for all of you regarding an upcoming program that Brett and I will be hosting in June.
Okay, thanks, Pranav. Thanks, Brett. Thanks, Yamini. Look, in my experience over the last about 15 odd years when I've been in this kind of a business, if every time somebody asked me a question that would have made me a millionaire by now, is that, okay, all this is fine. You have taught me all the principles and we now know what to do as a coach, etc. But how do we put up our shingle and then be successful as a coach? And this is a singular problem which pretty much plagues, I would say, everyone, but sometimes there could potentially be people who say, no, I come here only for knowledge. I'm very happy offering this as a pro bono kind of a stuff, and I'm well-to-do. I don't really need to do. There may be a few. In fact, there was someone who had said, oh, no, there's too much of, selling going on in this particular webinar. But the point is, this webinar is a part for you to learn that you need to sell if you want to be a coach. You have to sell the profession. You have to sell coaching as a process, and then finally you may have to sell yourself as well. You need to have visibility and credibility that you need to establish, and that is really what in this particular webinar, as well as what we are planning to do now, we are trying to establish that it's not just enough for a coach to gain all these competencies. And yes, you can be probably phenomenally an internal coach in a company. Even there you require some other skills to sell yourself. But especially if you are going to become an entrepreneur, which many of you would like to do, then you need to really seriously acquire certain skills in terms of how you can promote yourself, sell yourself, the process, and the profession. So to this end, what we had talked to both Brett and Pranav was to offer, contrary to normal logic, where 20% of any program that ICF allows you to do as business development, probably a larger percent, which is integrated into the process of competencies in terms of if you are setting up a business, just like saying, yeah, how do I become a better salesperson? How do I become a better communicator, etc.? They're not just about merely the competencies of ICF being applied blindly, but it's also about how it leads you into apply those principles, competencies into something meaningful and purposeful that delivers an outcome. So to that end, Pranav and Brett have agreed that they will put together and offer a program starting in June sometime, most probably around the middle of the month, which City will announce, and marketing team, Yamini, Sylvester, and others will put up in the calendar. And we would be requesting you to sort of simply put up your hands and say, yeah, we might be interested in this, or we would be interested in this, and whether we would be interested as a foundation program for new learners, or is it we are all experienced learners, we don't need anything foundation, so we require just additional inputs as to how to sell ourselves, that kind of a stuff. And once you answer that, based on that, Pranav and Brett will take you forward into today's program and its content. So I'll stop here. I don't want to step into whatever they are planning to sort of convey as their wisdom for your knowledge. Thank you.
Thanks, Ram. With that, I will ask Yamini to, okay, here's the poll. You can see the 3 questions that we're asking that'll help us determine the best format to put forward in June. Please take your time to answer it. You have till the end of the session, but your answers are much appreciated. And as a reminder, we are, this is a 3-part series, so this is the 3rd part, building on the last seminar we did regarding LinkedIn and the headline, and now moving on to the next step. I'm going to hand it over to Brett.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to everybody who is back from part 1 of the LinkedIn for Coaches. Can everybody hear me okay? Ram and Pranav, you could hear me okay, right?
Yep.
Okay, great. So yeah, welcome back to everybody that's shown up again. And I got to be honest with you, one of the reasons we even did part 2, we weren't even necessarily planning a part 2. So to be completely honest, we were just going to do LinkedIn for Coaches, and there was this tremendous interest afterwards and tremendous buzz. I personally got many notes of gratitude, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody on this call and the ones that weren't able to make it as well, saying that they want more. This was really great. So I said, well, let's give more. Let's keep going with this, because our job here is to really help you. And the only way that we can appropriately do that is to give you more content, more time live, more time to look at this. And the truth is, LinkedIn is, as I mentioned in the last seminar, is going to be your foundational tool outside of yourself and your business, right? So online, your foundational tool to start is going to be LinkedIn. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have a customer base that's going to be on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or through your own networks or groups. That all matters. But as a foundational base, LinkedIn has really become a hub for professionals, specifically coaches. So we talked about this a little bit in our first part 1 of this series. So anybody that wasn't a part of that, again, LinkedIn is where we want to start. So in that, I'm going to give a quick review of one of the things that we went over. And what we went over was we really honed in on, and I'm going to pull up, if anybody, we actually had a volunteer last time that said they wanted to volunteer their profile. And I was able to pull up their profile and critique it and audit it in real time. So I'm going to actually do that again. So if you'd like your LinkedIn profile to be audited or critiqued, so there will be some critique. So I'm warning you. I promise it'll be nice critique and it will be beneficial to you. We had a very nice volunteer last time. We had actually many volunteers, so I had to pick one. So if you're interested in having your profile up on the screen and we could talk about it, I will review what we went through in the first one. And then also we're going to start going into some new territory on LinkedIn on how to optimize your profile. So if you would like your profile to be audited live and get some tips, go ahead and put it up here now. I'm just looking a couple of them, and then I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go over some of the things that we went over in the last one with a new profile as a review. And then we're going to move on to some deeper deeper dives here. Okay, let's see here. Okay, got it. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Give me a second here. Thanks for your patience. All right, here we go. So one moment, and we're going to do a screen share, and you're going to see where we're at here. Am I sharing? Okay. Let's see here. I'll ask Pranav because I could see him on the screen. Can you see Asha's LinkedIn profile?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So Asha was one of the many volunteers today, so I appreciate that. Thank you, Asha. Looks like we are already connected, so that's great. Nice to be a connection of yours. And I will say, and I said this on the last call, and I'll open this offer to everybody as well. I have a network of over 40,000 top executives around the world. Feel free to send me a connection request. Please do not click follow. I mean, you can, that's fine, but I want to give you the most advantage possible. I have a follow button, which will just follow me, a fan base that follows me and that type of thing. But I invite you to actually directly connect. There's a couple little buttons right next to where you click the follow button, and you could do a drop down and it could say connect. Send me a connection request. I promise I will accept it. And once I've accepted it, you'll be a second connection. So you'll have less degrees of separation to these top executives around the world. So I'm happy to do that. Looks like we've already done that, Asha. So I appreciate that. And it's wonderful to be connected to you. So in review of what we did last week in LinkedIn part one. So a couple things that we did is we really honed in on this photo area up here. You can see my mouse here. So here's Asha's picture. It's very nice. And we have this banner back here. And we talked a lot about this. I mean, we really went deep. And there were even some comments of like, wow, we really talked about this photo and this banner a lot. And the reality is it's because that is our head, right? So if we were in person and we said, well, so and so's not being presentable in a business setting, well, sure, we could talk about what we're wearing, hygiene. We can talk about, if it's a man, if they have a beard, that the beard is trimmed, or whatever the full presentation is of this person, right? So this photo area and banner area represents our head for LinkedIn purposes, right? This is how we're wired as humans. And then the banner in the back is our advertisement, right? So what's going to either complement that nice photo, because that's going to be people's first impression is that photo, right? So one of the things we talked about is making sure that this photo that you are close up enough. And I'd say in Asha's photo, it looks great. It is close up enough. I can see her. I could see she's got a friendly looking expression on her face, right? So this is important. We don't want to have a scowl. I joked last time because I kind of have a scowl on mine, but that's just me. But what I would recommend is make sure that your face is charismatic, likable. The key to this business is to be likable. People don't just buy from people that are smart. They buy from people that they like. So if they don't know you at all and they happen to stumble on your profile or somebody recommends them, even a strong referral can go bad if your photo is not likable. So that's why we focus on this photo a lot. So Asha's photo, you've got a likable expression here. You're close enough. I can see everything. I could see you as a human. This looks really good. I'd say the only criticism I'd have here, you might want to run this through some AI filters. And when I say AI filters, I'm not talking about the ones that change your face. I'm talking about the ones that enhance lighting. So we talk about some of those in our business mastery series, and we go deeper in some of the personal consultation, but there are tools out there that will allow you to enhance the actual lighting and how it lights up the features of your face. So not a bad photo, but this is where it could be enhanced. The other thing is the background here is white. Well, that wouldn't be so bad you weren't wearing white as well. So what I would recommend is one of two things: is creating either a photo where what you're wearing contrasts the back, or you just completely replace this background. If you wanted to stay in this color palette, you could go to an off-white, but you want to have some contrast, because right now you're blending in, your shoulders are blending into this, and I don't see what's going on here as much, right? And when customers see this or prospects see this, they have only a matter of seconds to decide, and they're not deciding consciously, right? So we'll move on from the photos. We did a lot of this in the last one. Just want to do a quick review with the live a live profile right here. And again, Asha, thank you very much for being brave. So in the back here, this banner, I don't love it. I get what's happening here. I think I do. I think this is, if I'm guessing, I'm coming here both as an expert and putting my head on as just somebody who visits your portfolio. And if I were to stop and think about it, nobody's stopping and thinking about it. I'm guessing that's Asha right there. I don't know. I'm guessing she's talking to people. So if the goal here is to show, like, look, I'm Asha and I do these seminars, right? I have almost 6,000 followers. That's great. And by the way, we don't talk about follower count being important. If you've got it, wonderful. It's really about the quality of your followers, not the quantity of your followers. But nice to see that you have almost 6,000 followers. That's nice. Seems like you have a good following. And this photo back here, it's leaving too much to the imagination. So I would zoom this in. If you want to still use this and you want to show that you are somebody that does live presentations, that's what I'm getting from it. My first impression is Asha does live presentations. Asha's got some authority. Asha's got some credibility, but that's what it's trying to say, but it's not saying it, right? So we need to get clear in this photo. It's too blurry. We have to get closer. We have to create a story that if this is the route you're going, Asha, that we know exactly what's happening. Because truthfully, I don't even know if that's you, right? And I don't know exactly what's on the screen. Not that I would be able to read it anyways. You can even replace these. This is some of the more advanced LinkedIn stuff we do, where we can replace some of these screens with branding, right? So it doesn't have to actually be what's going on there. So thank you, Asha, for that. We're going to move on from banners and photos, but the point is this: as you see, you just pull up to LinkedIn, and this is hitting us in the face. This is important. But good job on the photo, Asha. You're like 90% there. 90% there. Banner could use some work. It's not horrible, but it could use some work. Hopefully that feedback is helpful for you and others. We'll touch just a little bit while I have your profile up. Excuse me, retail global sourcing consultant. Let's see, ICF and ACC executive leadership coach, Walmart. So this area, you've done a nice job on utilizing this headline area, because again, this is prime real estate, right? So we have to think of our LinkedIn as a real estate map, right? So oceanfront property, you're looking at it. There's Asha's picture and Asha's banner, oceanfront property, her name, of course, and then underneath it is oceanfront property, right? So this is the top property on LinkedIn. So in doing that, when we build our home, hotel, building on our oceanfront property, we want to make sure that we have extreme attention to detail. I mean, extreme. So I'm going to pick this apart for a second, and you're going to go, wow, I didn't even think about that. Take a look at this dash. This dash is further from the L than it is from the G. This separator right here has a nice spacing on the other side, but next to board member doesn't look right. There's a brick out of place in the building of this oceanfront property. So we want to make sure nobody is picking this apart like I am, but they are subconsciously. So we want to make sure that everything, it's like punctuation, right? It's like, we've had Grammarly and all these other things that are helping us with writing and punctuation. Why? Because if we get that stuff wrong, if we leave out a period, if we don't capitalize something, the subconscious of other people will pick it up and it reflects us, right? So this isn't a horrific thing. It's just something to pay attention to. So that's number one. Number two is we talk about design of this area. And the design of this area, we want to make sure that we're choosing what we want to highlight, which obviously Asha has done. There's a fine line between what we want to highlight versus what's going to create too much noise, right? And so that's something to keep in mind in this area. Let's just see if there's anything else before we get to the next one. Okay. Yeah, before we pull up another profile and get on to our next topic here, I will point out that you've got other oceanfront real estate here. So your chief consultant and coach, Elevate Co, Canada Inc. Wonderful. This right here, this is a placeholder by LinkedIn. We want to make sure that you create a company here, right? And this company will then populate like this company, Walmart. Looks beautiful. So underneath here, Walmart looks great, great credibility. That's showing up just fine. Need to get this filled in, right? And this is stuff that we cover in the business mastery and in consulting and that type of thing, but just pointing out some of the things that stand out. Okay, so I am going to thank you, Asha. We're gonna take your profile down for a second if I can figure out how to do it. Just a moment. Oh, here we go. Okay, we're back. All right. Thank you, Asha. I appreciate that. So as you can see, these things, they seem little and simple, like, oh, throw a photo up there, throw a banner up there. A lot of people don't even throw the banner up there, right? So it's like you had a parcel of oceanfront property that you didn't even know you owned, you didn't even want to build on. And building is free, right? So we now have to think about what else is going on these LinkedIn profiles, right? So you've got oceanfront property, but you want to build this neighborhood, right? And LinkedIn, every component of LinkedIn is tied into their algorithm. And we talk about this a lot. We talk about the algorithm in the Business Mastery series at detail. So we don't have enough time to do it here, but I invite you to sign up for the Business Mastery series. It's really, really wonderful. We talk about, I'll get into how LinkedIn's algorithm, how to become friends with LinkedIn's algorithm, right? So this is not a living being, of course, but it has certain metrics and it has ways to distribute us to our prospects and clients to create a better presentation where we're not just spending money on ads, right? So believe it or not, your photo and your banner matter. So this is optimizing your LinkedIn profile because the algorithm also sees that important parts of that oceanfront property are built out, right? So now that we're thinking about it as becoming friends with the algorithm and making sure that our profile is optimized for the algorithm, we want to think about the other components. And one of the areas that we talked about in putting part 2 together here, and it is a lesser known area of LinkedIn, and this is called endorsements. So you've probably seen these. You may have these. You may have gotten these. Feel free to put in the chat. I'm going to bring up another profile, and we're going to talk about endorsements. And so endorsements are exactly what they sound like, right? So they are an area, if there's anybody else that wants to put their profile up as I pull up one. Let's just see here. Let's see if we have any endorsements here. I'm going to pull up somebody with endorsements. So endorsements are one of these things where we get to pick our skills, right? And then say to our network and the world, hey, will somebody endorse these skills, right? And what ends up happening is it hits the algorithm and the metrics in a way that you've got these skills. So when people are searching for these skills, you've actually got them in your profile. So if you don't have endorsements up, you are losing out. And I highly suggest that you put them up there because the algorithm will not see it. Let's just see. I'm looking for another profile that we can pull up here.
While you do that, Brett, let me just throw in
Yep.
a quick thought. I'm looking at the poll, and there's some interesting results coming in. Please, all of
Yep.
you, if you can give us 100% on the poll, it'll be great. We have about 50% responses right now. These series that we're doing they're all precursors to the larger program that we're hoping to do in June. And the way that we look at it is, if you're looking at an architecture firm, for example, they have the concept of design build, which is the firm both designs the home and also does the contracting to build it out. So here we are certifying coaches at Coacharya to ICF accreditation, but then letting you go out in the world and figure it out for yourselves. The idea here is also the design build concept, which is we coach, we certify, and help you build a business. So the idea is to have you be successful in the business of coaching. Back to you, Brett.
Yep. So, okay. So I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, here we go. And I'm assuming you could see if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Aniket. Hopefully that's correct. If not, hopefully it's close enough and I didn't offend you. So Pranav, does that sound right? Am I Aniket?
Yeah.
Aniket? Aniket? Okay, so Aniket, you could see his profile, right? We're gonna go through it from top to bottom. Really nice here. Interestingly enough, Aniket has a little bit of the same issue as the last profile, right? So we've got white and white. You look good in the white shirt, but we don't know where the shirt ends and where the background begins, or vice versa. So I'm gonna have to change that. That's an easy change. It's a very, very easy change. Again, lots of apps will do this and change this. The banner looks nice. Actually, this is great. It's a nice banner. I might go a little bit larger in this text. It's a little small for some people to read, depending on their screen. But you're well branded. Nice job, Aniket, in terms of the conceptual understanding of this space here. You might even want to play around with where this, and maybe you did already, where this is, the journey forward is centered or lowered, and how that might look. But I would definitely get this text. Oh, somebody's saying they can't see the screen. Okay. But Aniket is could see it, so I'm assuming we're okay. Okay, so we're just going to scroll through. Another thing I just want to make sure that all of your links that are linking out to anywhere else are working. Sounds silly, but make sure they're working. Because somebody clicks on your link and it goes to a dead page, you lost them. They're no longer around. So Aniket, just like the last one, make sure you figure out how to get this filled in right here. We do talk about this in the Business Mastery and all the different modules. We will get into this, but I would look into filling this space right here, because it is just a generic fill at the moment. So Aniket has skills, right? So good job. You've filled out your endorsement area. And now if we click show 48 skills, so we put in 48 skills here, right? Great, wonderful. Put in as
Brett,
many as yep.
There are a few comments on not being able to see the screen. I don't know what the tech error might be on which side. Just to be more descriptive in what you're saying, so they can follow.
Okay, I'm showing that I'm sharing it. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Yeah, no, it's showing that I'm sharing.
Yeah, just carry on. Just be more descriptive. So
yeah. So, anyways, Aniket has his. Okay, so some people are saying they're seeing it just fine. So, okay, sorry for anybody that can't see it. We're going to carry on. So you see his skills are filled out here. He's got 48 of them. It's really important to do this. I would start with, you don't have to sit and fill out 48 or 100 or 10 or 5. It doesn't really matter. Get 3 in there today. If you don't have them, get 3 in there today. So whatever your top, I would start with coaching, right? Just coaching. I don't even care what Aniket does some grief counseling and grief coaching. That's wonderful. But for everybody's purposes, make sure you have, oh, here, Aniket has it right here, coaching. I'm going to actually endorse Aniket right now for coaching. And so anybody that wants to send me a LinkedIn connection request, add coaching. I will endorse you for coaching today. So you will have not only your endorsement, this is your endorsement homework. Go ahead and send me a LinkedIn request. You'll be connected to my network. Number two, at a minimum, put in coaching, because everybody on this call should have coaching on there, I'm assuming. And once that's on there and once we connect today, I will personally go and endorse you for coaching. So what ends up happening is now the LinkedIn algorithm sees that Brett Burhoff has endorsed you for coaching. It hits the algorithm. It sees that I have 40,000 followers. And it has little metrics that help you as you go through this journey and as people begin to endorse you. So it's not a race to have the most endorsements and that type of thing. It's another component. In the chat, somebody had asked the question, which is better, which is more powerful? I don't remember the exact question, between recommendations and endorsements. And the simple answer is it's tough to tell because we don't have a perfect glimpse into the back end of LinkedIn's algorithms. Nobody does. It's like the formula to Coca-Cola, right? But what we know is that we know that the algorithm needs data, right? And we're going to talk about the LinkedIn recommendations in another seminar. We go pretty deep into them in the Business Mastery series. So when you sign up for the Business Mastery series, you'll see we talk about recommendations both digitally and actually out in the field. So recommendations are a whole world in and of themselves. So go ahead and if you don't have endorsements, you can start with just coaching alone. I will endorse you for coaching. Send me a connection request and I will take care of that today. Second to that, so you can see Aniket has grief counseling, and this is a very branded profile where it seems like grief counseling is, at least from what I can tell, something that he really focuses on, right? So he's used his oceanfront property here, grief support coach for individuals and organizations. Amazing. This is so well done, right? So I don't think anybody has a question as to what that means. So now he goes down to his skills, and boom, right at the top. So remember, you can reorder these, right? You can move grief counseling all the way to the top, and that's what he did. And you can go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and endorse him for grief counseling. So you can move these to the top. So you can see my little photo there. Where you did grief in all caps, I would match that on a cat. I wouldn't go all caps on this. It's a little bit redundant with grief counseling. But I'll let you make the call on whether or not you're going to keep that in there. But I would, at the very least, remove the all caps and match with everything else, because we want to make sure that this house is built nicely. So as you can see, Aniket has life coaching, personal development, well-being, transformational life coaching, grief coaching. I think is grief coaching in there. Okay, so grief counseling, grief coaching. So this is good actually. So it sounds a little bit redundant, but grief coaching and grief counseling are good because then it's going to cast a wider net. So you don't want to get too exhaustive, but not bad to go ahead and widen that net. So anything else that Aniket wants to be seen or endorsed for is available, right? And so there's a couple different strategies here. You can go really deep on these things and have endorsements really, really deep, or you can go to just 3 endorsements. I endorse me for coaching, endorse me for strategy, endorse me for grief coaching. Boom. And then, you have less people to worry about filling up your endorsements. So there's advantages and disadvantages to both, but the biggest thing is get your endorsements going. Get them going. And as people come in, it hits the algorithm and as they endorse you. And remember, one of the things that you can do, not only can you move your top endorsed skill, meaning the one you want to highlight to the top. So if we go back here, we'll see how it shows up on the, so we're only seeing 2 here, right? So we want to make sure that we have our top 2 that we want to see. And so what does top two mean? So top two can mean either A, what you want to brand out to people, B, what you want endorsed at that moment, or the bonus one is C would be anything that you might have. I think they max out, or at the moment they're maxing out at 99 plus endorsements. So if you have 5,000 endorsements, they'll just say 99 plus. And so you might want to show that you're really heavily endorsed for something, so you can show those two. Again, oceanfront property. So decide what you're putting on there. It might change every month. Review it. Don't let this be a boring part of your portfolio. So take a look at endorsements. They're real. I know they kind of seem silly, but filling out this profile is going to hit the algorithm. It's going to hit the metrics. Again, we talk about it more in the business mastery series. So I don't have enough time today, but I hope to see you in future webinars as we go deeper, and also in the business mastery series. And then, of course, in our ICF program that we're going to be running, that's going to be really, really unique, where you will get not only your credentials and competencies, but also the business development component, right? It really is this dual component. It's going to be really cool. And we're going to go into all this in terms of building your business, so you're ready to go right out of the gate. Okay, I'm going to stop screen share and then take a look at any questions that we have coming in after that. So I know we've covered a bit here. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them live, and maybe even talk to you live. You're welcome, Aniket. Aniket said, "Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it." Absolutely happy to help, and thanks again for being brave and allowing me to put your portfolio in front of the world. Happy to help. So any questions on? Okay, here we go. Is there a way we can request the endorsements? Well, so there's a question that just came in. Is there a way that we can request the endorsements the way we seek recommendations? That's a really, really good question. The quick answer is yes, of course. I would weight heavier on the recommendations than the endorsements. But yes, you can absolutely seek these in that way, especially during the build-up phase, right? So if you're building up these endorsements and you don't have any, that's an important thing to focus on.
Yeah, Brett, let me jump in real quick, because I've had this happen where someone has asked, so quid pro quo, if you will endorse me, I will send you an endorsement. So it certainly does work that way. Offer to write one for them and they'll write one for you, provided that both of you are willing to do that for each other.
Yeah. I mean, that's certainly something you can do. I would say when you're doing that, if you're exchanging endorsements with somebody, I wouldn't exchange it with a prospect. I would exchange it with a colleague. I would exchange it with somebody else in the coaching community. You don't want to exchange endorsements with a prospect. So I want to be clear on that. So it's different than a recommendation in that way, right? So this is a building of that side of your business. Can you show one more time how to move this skill to the top? Unfortunately, in this particular webinar, I wish I had the time to do it. We won't have the time to do it today. But please check us out on future webinars, and also in the ICF program, we'll be going over the details of how to move things around. And also on future modules of the business mastery, we're going to be going deep into LinkedIn, and we're going to show you how to move around everything and restructure and rebuild. And we're going to talk about renovating this house, right? I just don't have enough time today. I wish I did. Let's see. How is an endorsement authentic if you just give it to anyone? Great question. How is a recommendation authentic if we just give it to anybody, right? So the authenticity really resides in the person that decides to give it to you, right? So anybody could give you a recommendation, anybody could give you an endorsement, right? So who are your endorsements from? Are your endorsements from people that don't matter? Then it's probably not going to hit the metrics and the algorithm as much. Can anybody just give them to you? Yeah, in theory they can, but are they going to? Right. So they still have to be voluntary. Somebody still has to want to do it. They're still going to show up on your profile. So as you saw on Aniket, I gave him an endorsement. My face showed up on his profile. I have to want my face to show up on his profile. I have to be okay with that. So that's where the authenticity comes from. Is the authenticity is coming from the fact that you are ending up on somebody's profile and they are ending up on yours, just like a recommendation. So kind of like an honor system, but it's enough, I believe, for both. Let's see here. Okay. This is a good question. How can we give endorsements when we haven't experienced their coaching? That's a very personal thing, right? So you can decide that. That's where the authenticity comes in, right? So that question actually plays to the authenticity 100%, right? So that is your personal decision to create the authenticity, right? So I know that Aniket is a coaching professional, right? He's on this. I can see his LinkedIn. Have I experienced Aniket's coaching? No, but I can endorse that he is in coaching. He is at my webinar, right? So I have enough to me to create an authentic endorsement. So you have to decide if you want to create an authentic endorsement, and you can do that, right? So that's a very personal question. Some people will say, I'm not endorsing anybody, or I'm going to only endorse if I have actually experienced their coaching or their services, and that is up to you, and that's up to whoever's endorsing you, right? And that's why LinkedIn decides that these endorsements are important, because they are self-regulated, right? Let's see. I think we're good. Oh, here we go.
There were a couple of questions on
Yeah.
how to move the skill to the top of the fold.
Yeah, I addressed that. That we won't have the time to go deep into the mechanics of it in this particular one. I see. Let's see, business mastery program, frequency dates. Okay, so the business mastery program, good question. It is actually on demand, right? So you can purchase this program today and begin it and follow it and watch it and different components on demand as you see fit. This has been really helpful for the people that are doing it already, and they've really enjoyed it. This is going to be a multi-part series in the business mastery series. So the first module is actually called Basics to Breakthroughs, where we touch on people that are just building their business. They just got their certification. They're trying to figure things out. They want to build their business. They want to learn how to prospect. They want to learn how to land clients. They want to learn how to position themselves. And then also experts, people who have been in this business already and they want to up their game. So that business mastery series is really, really cool, and has just been successfully launched. So really is doing well, and I invite you all to check it out. Any other questions regarding LinkedIn positioning?
There's a question here.
Yeah.
Any tips on what all coaches can do through LinkedIn to deliver their coaching services, like conducting LinkedIn live sessions, etc.? What should the frequency be?
See that question. Oh, here. Okay, the coaching services conducting LinkedIn live. So it's really important. So LinkedIn live is great. As far as frequency of the posts, this is business dependent, right? So it depends on what area of coaching you're in and how you want to really stay in front of your clients and or prospects and what your messaging is. But what I can tell you without going deep into it, and the only reason I'm not going deep is because it's 46 minutes after the hour here in the US, and we just are limited on time. So it is important to remain consistent, right? So consistent in both your message and consistent in your frequency in posting. The question I know was how frequent do you post? And that's going to be very specific to what your particular goals are in your business at that point in time and what you're trying to attract. Are you looking to maintain business? Are you looking to get new business? Are you looking to expand into a new area of coaching, that type of thing? So that's kind of dynamic, but what I will say is make sure that you are consistent and that your message is out there. Don't stay silent. It's important to be in front of your people. Let's see what other LinkedIn peers have a huge number of posts from coaches about their practice every day. I'm not sure how much of it reaches the intended audience. How do you test and refine this? Also, what's your take on the positions, the practice on social media right now, and how you would change with respect to what you're seeing on LinkedIn? So as far as other social media, we're not going to go into that on this webinar because this is really focused in on LinkedIn. Yes, you will see a huge number of posts from coaches. The way it reaches, we actually do have metrics as we post. LinkedIn actually gives pretty good metrics, and we'll go into this on a future webinar, and then of course much deeper in the business mastery modules. So we can look at those back end metrics once we make these posts and see where it's hitting, and then tweak our message from there. So the question was, how do we know if it reaches the intended audience? These metrics actually tell us. Again, we don't have the time today, but I would start by getting your message out there. Check out the Business Mastery series. You could learn about how to create your message, because you want to know what your message should be. Everybody's message is slightly different, but we have formulas in how to do that. Let's see. And I'm going to just take one last question here before we begin to wrap this up. Great question, by the way. Can we consider our LinkedIn profile like sort of our website, meaning using it for branding purposes? And that is a big yes. You absolutely should consider your LinkedIn profile as another branding foundation for you, like a website. Does it mean you shouldn't have a website? No, it does not. You should have a website. Again, we go into this deeper in module 1, basics to breakthroughs. So you should have that website, but LinkedIn should also be a parallel foundation that you have with that website for branding purposes. So it is very, very important. Yeah, and I think we've gotten through most of the questions that we can today. So I appreciate everybody coming back who came back, and anybody who's new. Thanks for showing up. We appreciate trying to help you here and get you through these next levels of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a tool. We're gonna do these webinars, and we're gonna hit not only LinkedIn, but we're gonna talk about branding. We're gonna talk about positioning, talk about sales, marketing, recommendations. We're gonna get into all of it. So stay tuned for these complimentary webinars. And then if you want to dive deep, and I recommend that you do, check out the Business Mastery series. If you want to get certified, check out the ICF programs that are coming up that are going to have I'm going to be featured in these. So I'm going to help you with your business building at the same time. You're going to get a 2-in-1 sort of thing. Pretty unique, something new that's being offered to the industry. So thanks again, and I'll turn it over to Pranav, and we'll see you next time.
Sure. Thank you, Brett. Feel free to throw in any more questions you have, last minute questions before we wrap up here. And also, if you haven't filled out the poll, please do, so we can get a sense of who is interested in these programs that we're planning to do. Again, this is sort of the design build concept where think of it as coach build. We want to help you become a coach, but also be successful at the business of coaching. And the idea behind the hybrid program is to give you both those, and you get that pleasure of seeing two bald men train you through the coaching and certification process, as well as how to get through selling coaching. Which is an art in and of itself. And we can talk a lot more about sort of the expectations, the target audiences, the market that we're approaching, there's questions here on, literally on what's the total addressable market? How do we get folks on LinkedIn? And LinkedIn is just one channel to do all of this. Some of us have been doing this longer than others and can provide a lot of insights. Coacharya itself has been doing this for over 10 years. So we have some tips and techniques to get us to the next level and be good coaches, but also good business folks. Brett, do you have any thoughts on what the next session will be in the coming weeks?
As far as our webinar? Yeah, so we are in the creation process of that now, so stay tuned. It's going to be, what we're really doing here is we're helping you build the foundation of your coaching business. And this is giving you each week we're giving you sort of a taste of what we go deeper into some of these modules. So we will get deeper into the branding side and the positioning side, and stay tuned for that. Those updates will come through your email box as well, and also stay tuned on LinkedIn.
Great. Brett, do you have any closing comments, or should we close this out? Or I think actually Yamini will close this out, but
yeah, I think we're good. Thanks again, everybody. Appreciate seeing you all. And we'll see you on the next one.
Okay. Thank you, Brett. Thank you all for joining us. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I will let Yamini close us out.
Thanks, Pranav. Thanks, Brett. Thank you for the webinar and for taking people through their LinkedIn profiles. I'm sure many people found it useful. We at least had a lot of people saying that in the chat box. So picking up from this, please do reach out to us. Now you've seen what a taste of the Business Mastery series looks like. So please do reach out to us at support@coacharya.com. As I said before as well, that there are special offers going on right now. So do reach out to us. And yes, we look forward to seeing you in the Business Mastery series. And yes, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today for this webinar, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.